All right, guys, so what have we done over the course of the last 4 years to become prepared for what is likely to come, which is a situation you always need to prepare for, and that's tough times. All right, guys, so last night we found ourselves at a breaking point.
Under that wide open Arkansas sky.
So previously on It's All Grady.
So previously, guys, we were dealing with an escaped convict that is in our area. Yeah, we've been dealing with these crazy storms. That's one hit after another. We got a nice day today, though, so we're going to try to soak it up as much as we can. We were able to get a whole section of scaffolding put together yesterday.
It's bringing us closer to that goal of getting back to the roof. We've had our roof sitting here for quite a while now.
Yeah, we have half of it installed, but just like a lot of things out here, because we're not a big crew, it takes a lot more for us to do things. And we have to work with the conditions, like the wall here that is not currently painted when the rest of the house is. It's because when we were painting, we bought our area entirely out, and there was no more available. And when they finally did have some available, guys, the conditions were bad. We found winter, and now we're in the early part of the year where there's lots of rain. So we always find things that are more important for us to do. We will eventually get back to everything because I intend on having a completed house one day. All right, guys, so last night we found ourselves at a breaking point. Right? There's so much going on in our lives that we became very consumed. And we're still consumed because you have to stay prepared no matter what. Even when things feel like they're calm, cool, and collective, and that we're enjoying the peace, we still have to be prepared, right? Last night, though, we found ourselves stressed out about the individual that has escaped in our area and all of the things that we still have to do in order to keep moving forward. So today we're breaking that, guys. We have to break that because it stops us. And most of the time we have no choice in the matter. We do not control most of what happens in our lives. Only thing we can control is whether we are prepared for it. Yeah? Every single day for us starts the same. We wake up, we have a sip of coffee, and then we got to come out and do our farm chores. So that's what we're going to start right now, guys. We're going to take you along, and you can get a glimpse of what we got going on, because not all of homesteading or whatever it is we are doing out here is glamorous or shined and polished. We are doing this for real. And we are learning a lot of hard lessons. We've already learned a lot, and we have a lot more to learn. I'm certain of it.
We certainly do. These chickens are ready to get out, you guys. We are on to chicken chores right now. Here, I'm going to give you,
All right, guys. So one of the things about being prepared is to have a nice stockpile of grain. Excuse the mess in here. This is what we call this area camper house. If you don't already know, this was a structure that was built on this property long before we got it. This little area right back here is actually a camper that they pulled in and built a structure around it until it caught fire and became uninhabitable. We use it for storage, guys.
It's a unique area, but we do like having it for storage. It's very helpful.
Heck yeah. Chicken chores are never really difficult, guys, but it does take time. You can automate your chicken operation, and it really does cut time and effort that is required, but the one thing that you can really never like minimize or cut out of the routine is the physical checks, because out here you could end up with a possum, snakes. There's all types of predators that would enjoy an egg and a chicken. Plus, if you have a sick chicken, you want to make sure that you remove those guys from the flock. Or girls. We really love our ladies. You feel me?
Yeah.
These are our newest hatched. These right here are like a homestead prep that pays for itself. Yeah, I know. I had to take the one out because they were all three in the back.
Okay.
I took Mom out and put her in it. One right here, and there's another little baby one running around here somewhere. There's two of them right behind Denise's feet, as a matter of fact, running around there. That black one right there, running around here. Those are natural hatches. I'm just going to say, guys, if you get into chickens, because chickens are such a wonderful segue into homesteading and preparedness, you want to be successful at it. And chickens, as wonderful as people say they are on YouTube, I have personally found chickens to be very inefficient at hatching. But we use incubators, and they do great in comparison to like the natural way. However, what you can't do is rob nature. Nature will do what it does no matter what. So when your chickens become broody, you really have no choice. And right now, guys, we have a bunch of these ladies right here that are all trying to probably hatch out 2 birds apiece. We call this little spot right here, we call this quarantine coop. See the little baby trying to squeeze out there? Look at that. Little chicken nuggets. That's right, like right there. Oh, look at it.
So although we don't get very many chicks when we let them hatch out naturally, I really enjoy seeing the natural process. It's so cute seeing the mamas with the chicks, but Marcel's right. If you're trying to do it for efficient purposes, this is not the way to do it. But there's 2 babies in there. That's what she came out with out of her hatch. I'm just going to give her some food real quick. Hey, mamas, you hungry?
One of the problems we found with hatching, guys, is our operation is very small, so our coops are shared between broody and regular chickens. And regular chickens will get real picky about where they're laying. And even if a broody chicken is there, they'll squeeze in a box and lay an egg, and then you start losing eggs, and you also start ending up with eggs in different stages of development, which is very inefficient. So one day we want to be able to build like a specific coop, a big enough one that we can fit a bunch, because we got like 6 or 7 broody hens right now.
Oh, the peonies.
Yeah, they live their life. They're beautiful, but they don't last long.
Okay, these guys are going to pile out of this coop like a clown car, guys.
This flock here is our first attempt at a real breed, trying to maintain it, and then of course trying to crossbreed to create a breed. So this is our real first legit attempt at it. And it's worked out pretty well because all of our hatches have been from this flock. Well, most of our hatches, guys.
So we never got that one hen back in here, so it looks like we might be able to break her from broody. You guys, Miss Beasley went broody on us. And then another hen right here. These are the ones that were from me, Mom, and Papa. They're Astrolorps and Morans, right? And this pretty girl, she's mean. She's a little mean. Good morning, girl. You want some food? Okay. Good morning, girl. You hungry? And how about you? And this young lady right here is one of our newer ones, but she's doing a great job at being broody. All right, the mamas are doing good, you guys.
Still don't want to put our guard down, guys. There's still a creep running around here somewhere. Whether he's out of town or in my backyard, I don't know. But we have to take that serious, which is another homestead prep that we've included, which was like of utmost importance. And that's like our security cameras. And especially that they are not reliant on the grid or power at all, because some of them are solar powered. Yeah, and then the ones that do require power, guys, we have our backup power units, which is also a nice setup, man. I'm just gonna tell you, when you doing it, you're gonna know, because when those disasters hit or that time happens that you need to use your preps, it's certainly nice to have them. Out here, every inch of our homestead matters. Building this life from scratch, and every tool that we bring in has to work as hard as we do. That's why when it came to protecting what we're building, we turned to Riolink. Introducing the Argus PT Ultra, Riolink's first 4K pan and tilt battery camera. No cords, no complicated installs. Just clear wide-angle coverage powered by the sun and connected to our Riolink home hub. The Riolink Argus PT Ultra is solar powered, so we could place it anywhere on our property. This camera pans 355 degrees and tilts 140 degrees, covering all those blind spots without needing wires. And check this out. We still get colored night vision even in the pitch black. That's something I didn't even think was possible out here. And here's where it all comes together, our Riolink home hub. It's the brains of the operation, letting us control everything from one spot. No monthly fees, no internet dependency. Just local encrypted storage and full control. What does that mean to me? That means I don't have to have a service that I can't afford. And even when the Wi-Fi is down, I'm still recording. And what is local backup storage? It's an SD card that you can put inside of this unit, keeping all of your footage safe and secure. If you're looking for a game-changing security camera that is wireless, then you're just like us, and we have a treat for you today. So we have been testing out the Riolink Argus PT Ultra with the Riolink Home Hub. Spoiler alert, it is blowing our minds. All right, so first let's talk about this setup. We received two Argus PT Ultra cameras and the Riolink Home Hub. One camera is mounted halfway up our driveway. The second camera is right here. It's ready to expand our coverage. So what makes the Argus PT Ultra so special? Let's break down those specs and makes this a must-have. First of all, this camera shoots in 4K with 8 megapixel resolution. That is ultra sharp detail. But what really sets this camera apart is its Color X night vision. Unlike most cameras that rely on infrared for black and white footage, Color X uses a super wide aperture to capture full color video in near darkness. Out here with the trees blocking the lights, we still see those vibrant colors at night. No spotlight needed, which means no reflections off of those leaves. It is unreal. Now let's talk about movement. This camera has 355 degree pan and a 140 degree tilt. So we can swivel it remotely to follow action across the driveway or check on our farm animals. From the Riolink app, I can control it from anywhere. Whether I'm at the store or across the country, I've got full access without losing clarity. Powering this beast is a 20,000 milliamp battery, and we've paired it with the Riolink solar panel. Halfway up our driveway, it's sipping that sunlight, so we never have to recharge it. It is perfect for that off-grid setup. Plus, it's IP65 weatherproof, shrugging off that wind, the rain, the heat, and the cool. with protections from temperatures ranging from 14 degrees to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. It is built to last. And that's where the Riolink Home Hub comes in. This little box connects to our cameras and stores all of our footage onto a micro SD card, up to 128 gigabytes. That's a week's of recording. No cloud and no subscription required. Just secure local storage. The hub supports up to 12 cameras, so we can add more Argus PT Ultras as our homestead grows. And with the dual band Wi-Fi, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, our signal stays rock solid, even through the trees. Security? Oh yeah, it's smart. The Argus PT Ultra has AI-powered detection for people, vehicles, and pets. So we're not getting alerts for every swaying branch. We have set custom motion zones using the app. For what? So we can focus on the driveway and our coops. So when something is up, we get an instant notification. There's even a siren and a spotlight to scare off intruders. Here's why we're jazzed up. It is subscription free, no monthly fees, and full access to all features. That's freedom and peace of mind in one package. So whether you have a large property like us, or even just your backyard, the Riolink Argus PT Ultra delivers. Easy to install, just mount it and connect it to the hub, and you're live in just minutes. It is next level security without the hassle. So what do you think? The Riolink Argus PT Ultra and Home Hub has transformed how we keep tabs on our property. Drop a comment. Would you use this for your home or your farm? So if you guys are interested in products like this, make sure you're checking out the links in our description below. Good job, Riolink.
Wow.
All right, guys, I'm going to share something with you here. This is actually another prep, but this one Mother Nature provides for us. Yeah, and we've actually learned to enjoy them. Last year we didn't get much of any of it, but anything that grows naturally around here is good for your chickens, good for you, good for whatever. Plus it's beautiful. You know what that is, guys? That's straight from Mars. Have you guys ever seen anything that even looks like that? The alien beauty that is represented right there by Mother Nature is insane. That's a passion fruit. Yeah? And there is only one time that you can eat those suckers, otherwise they taste like glucka-lucka.
They smell like grapes, though. It's so crazy.
Actually tastes like Welch's grape jelly when they're ripe. All right, guys, this is our flock that we just can't let go. This is the flock that came with mostly this came with the property. These are our OGs. There is a couple of them that was given to us, but most, well, at least 4 of them are originals. Rooster, Fuzzy Cheeks, there's Comb Hawk. Those are our originals. I'm gonna just follow her. They didn't all follow her because she spilt some feed over there, but usually she just has a bunch of chickens chasing her around everywhere she goes. Oh, there goes Fuzzy Cheeks. All right, guys, this is another really good homestead prep right here, I'll tell you, is water. I filled it up last night, guys, and forgot about it, so it overfilled. So you're about to watch me waste some water. It's crazy watching our property transform into the homestead that it is becoming. All right, let's go walk past some blackberry bushes.
Last year I was able to harvest some of those blackberries, and we've been using them all year in different things. It's really exciting to see how many things are provided here for us on the land. It is an important part of being, I don't know, kind of self-reliant. Foraging has become something that Marcel and I enjoy to do together.
Chickens are, they smart enough to not drink poopy water, but they're not smart enough not to poop in their drinking water. So you got to clean their water bowls. I'd love to automate the watering one day, but to have a stockpile is very important. Not just for your animals, but for yourself too. Next to water, guys, obviously water's probably the most important next to air, but is food. Our chickens are one of our top prep, how would I put it? One of our top prep additions to our life.
One of the parts why we wanted to homestead was so we could kind of try to learn how to provide our own food. We're making progress on that. Chickens are one of our primary sources. We are trying to get it to where we have meat birds out of them, like Marcel said earlier, the mix that we're trying to come up with. They're a little bit more heavy duty, so we're excited that things are turning out with the chickens because that is a resource we need.
It is a lot of back and forth, but that's because it's too hard to carry a 55-gallon drum full of water. All right.
Finito bandito.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad, guys. It's actually kind of peaceful. Now, sometimes it is a hindrance if it's raining or ice cold. It's not fun. Or if you're just tired from the day before, it's not as fun, but the chickens don't really care. They're not like, well, you guys need a break. Why don't you just take it and we'll take care of it ourselves. However, part of being prepared out here is to have chickens that can do it by themselves, yeah? So a good portion of every single day, our chickens are permitted to free range. So they know how to gather their own food as well. As a matter of fact, our original flock survived by themselves for the first couple months.
Before we even got here.
Before we even bought food. So yeah, so who knows how long the people that were residing here on our property before we left didn't leave until almost before we got here. So they were still there. They just couldn't catch those.
Ooh, I'm so excited about the rain clearing up, but at the same time, I know that the heat is coming. So it's going to be another balance of challenges. Once we get on that roof, it's going to be hot.
Which is another good point to bring up. You know, when we came out here with 3 of us, and we all had a position, if you will, or a job, our responsibilities. And we have recently lost one of us. We didn't lose him. Gage moved on, right? Because he's a young buck and he needs to experience life, the other side of life too, not just this. Plus, we really didn't know what we were doing. We're learning as we go. So I don't want my son to miss anything in life, the experiences that come with engaging in real life, not isolation, which is what you end up with out here. Yeah, we can all pretend that there's like wonderful communities that will be there when the time comes if you're trying to be prepared for what is coming. Yeah? Truth is, if you look at history, most of the time people start to worry about themselves, right? And it's not because you don't want to help anybody, but our nearest community is very far away, right? We got Keith and Mickey. They're an hour and a half away. If we needed each other, it could become very difficult to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So my point is you really need to make sure, and we do, that the things that we are doing, we are capable of doing. And you also probably should be prepared to have to do it yourself. because accidents happen out here. And that's another part of being prepared. We were never prepared for Denise to fall through our floor 10 feet to a concrete floor. Yeah, we never expected that. We never expected the bug bite that turned into something that could have been really bad. Yeah, we still dealing with that one.
It's really important to be as prepared as you possibly can. We could have took steps beforehand in case of an accident, like knowing exactly which hospital to go to. That was a huge one. We did not know where to go when the time came, which can be a stressful situation. So that would have been better to plan ahead on, but we are learning as we go as far as what we need to prep for.
That's right, guys. I'm gonna have Denise turn the camera around real quick. That right there, guys, is one of our largest preps. Yeah, that is I'm gonna roughly gauge that about a 1/4 acre pond. And it's stocked with fish, turtles. We didn't ask for the turtles, but they there. And the most essential element is the water, guys, because when the power goes out or your well goes down, because you don't have plumbing out here, not city water plumbing, you have to be ready, because you can't stop drinking water just because the faucet ain't working. You feel me? So here it is. There's a turtle right there. Somebody says you can eat turtle soup. I'm not real interested. But if I had to, I could. Yeah?
Yeah, when we moved out here, the pond was a huge thing for us. We wanted to make sure that we had that kind of resource. We were kind of thinking ahead, but not really sure what we would need. So I'm glad that we actually found a property with a pond, because we have that option if we need it. And there's fish in there that we could fish for.
I do fish for. I caught one.
And eat. We haven't eaten them yet, guys.
But one day we will, if we have to. Our orchard was an amazing addition to self-sufficiency. It hasn't produced yet, but that's because we haven't been here long enough for our apple trees to produce, right? But all but one is really doing well. I did mention this one tree over here the other day in one of our videos, and somebody mentioned fire blight, and maybe that's it. The only thing I have a problem with is, are they born with fire blight? Did it come with fire blight? Or how does just one tree all by itself get contaminated? You know, for the longest time I felt embarrassed to even say the P word. When we say prepping, we're not necessarily talking about like your aluminum foil hat wearing crazy prepper, the one that's prepping for like
The apocalypse?
the end of times, right? The end of times come, baby, it's the end of times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But what we are saying is, when you are in a situation like we are in rural America, a level of preparedness is key. It's instrumental to our survival.
We've learned a lot of hard lessons along the way.
Yeah.
A lot of them to do with power and then water.
Yeah, and food. We had a pantry, guys, a prepper pantry stocked, and most of that food was destroyed because our conditions, our storage conditions, were not conducive to food storage at all. So that's something to be prepared for too. Nice thing about chickens is it's like fresh food just waiting to be harvested.
Yeah.
We eat eggs every day.
Mm-hmm. It's an amazing commodity to have for sure. Eggs are a really robust, nutritionist food that you can survive off of them, I think. We're doing pretty good right now. Huh, baby?
Yeah, I'm trying to lose it, guys. I'm trying to lose it. I did. I lost a baby. Right? We said it in the last video, but this time I'm going to reiterate it. I have lost a baby's worth. And I want to lose like probably 3 of those babies this month. Shouldn't be hard.
Yeah, we've only done this for a week, right? And it's 10 pounds so far?
I've been losing at least about 1 pound to 1.33 pounds every single day on my new starvation diet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I've seen slower progress in the beginning, but I'm starting to see some of those pounds drop off too, which is nice because that whole time being down after my accident, it put weight on.
Yeah, and if you want to be prepared for an attack or the ability to run a farm, you have to be in some semblance of healthy shape. And we let ourselves go a combination of things, guys. There was a combination of them, like external. We allowed a lot of external elements to affect us internally, right? With bad experiences, with relationships that we had originally engaged with some of our neighbor issues, which I will just bring up. My neighbor is being very cool.
Yeah, thanks, neighbor.
Yeah, this is the neighbor that I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? Because we like good neighbors now.
Yeah.
He's just being so cool, man. I even might ask one day if he wants to come and say what up to you guys.
Yeah.
Who knows? We won't make any promises, but baby steps for me. That's a relationship that I feel I have no other choice but to try to resolve and to like at least build on in a fashion that we can be neighborly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're your neighbor. Yeah. You have no choice. We have some good relationships, ones that we would never have been able to build under any other circumstances. But one thing that I've learned is in the name itself, self-reliance means that you are reliant on yourself. You have to be reliant. You know what I mean? You can't have the fry guy and the hamburger guy and the dish guy and that's all they know. You're not prepared. You feel me? You have to be able to, what do they call that? Cross-train. Not cross-dress. It's cross-train, guys. You have to be reliant on yourself. And you need to be able to depend on the ones that are sharing this journey with you intimately. The one you wake up next to every day. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Or your kin. Yeah. Yeah? Or your very, very true close friends. Bama-lama, baby. All right, guys, so what have we done over the course of the last 4 years to become prepared for what is likely to come, which is a situation you always need to be prepared for, and that's tough times. Tough times make hard people, strong people, and the good times, man, they tend to bring us down a little bit and make us less prepared. One thing we don't ever want to do is become overly complacent so that we cannot fend for ourselves, and that's where we were before we came here. I thought fending meant making hundreds of thousands of dollars with my painting business. I could go to the store and buy whatever we wanted. But it's only been a few short years ago, we were all of us, you, me, everybody experienced something in our country that probably most of us have never experienced. And I know that way back in the past, people have experienced hard times like that. They call it the Depression, things like that, right? But we found out it did not matter how much money you had in the bank, because when the supplies were gone, we were SOL.
Yeah, we found ourselves in that position. We had the resources to get it, but the resources weren't there. We kind of started gearing our mind toward how could we not be in this situation. That was scary. That was a pivotal point in our lives, I think.
That was the first step in this direction, because we were able to identify and admit that we were not as prepared as we needed to be, right? So admitting that was the first thing. Identifying it was the first thing, so we started making big changes, right? Being prepared is not an easy thing. And when you're a homesteader or a farmer or rural America or even in the city, it really does not matter. You are only going to last as long as your preparedness will allow you. And that's not just your little Patriot packs. You feel me? Those things are disgusting. You're not going to want to eat it for 20 years. You feel me? Those are not, I mean, that's last minute stuff. Buckets of Patriot food. Give me a break. We'll all die of exposure to the poisons that they put in that stuff, man. We trying to get away from it. Anyways, our next was like learning how to navigate land, identify things that look out of place. These are skills that people around here, it's second nature.
Yeah.
It's like breathing for them, but we weren't exposed to that stuff, so we're learning that. Yeah, being prepared for the unprepared. We had no idea that power surges were going to be such a huge problem for us out here until we started losing high dollar items like a well. The second time we lost a well, we knew it was bad news bears. We've lost equipment in our house. There's a lot of things that we've lost since we've been out here that I can now attribute to those. So we became prepared by that by adding our protection on our panels. We upgraded our panels with home surge protectors, which is now keeping us protected from that.
We're looking forward to not having some of the issues that we have had before. Losing that hard drive was a hard hit for me. I was working on a project at the time. I was able to recover it, thankfully. However, we did have that well pump go out, and thankfully on that situation, it was covered under the warranty. We just replaced it, you guys. We paid thousands of dollars for a new pump. And then, what, a couple weeks later, it got fried. Not even, it was a couple days later it got fried, wasn't it?
It was a second.
It was?
Yeah,
okay.
It was a second.
We had a storm roll through and no water after that.
Yeah, which is why we now prepare for the water. Actually, we were already preparing for the water back then because we were learning with my extensive garden hose plumbing system that wintertime can be it can be a problem, right? And you could be without water very fast here. Even if you're not using garden hoses, well houses freeze up, pipes break, power goes down. And we learned very quick 2 lessons. 1, that you have to have water stored. And 2, you better have a good way to store it, because our first storage solutions, which we brought from the city out here, were those jugs, like the water jugs that you get for the water machines. And they worked great in the city. You could stock them up in your basement. It was great. But exposed to the elements, they exploded and we lost all of our water when we needed it the most. One of the other things we learned that was really important for us guys, I pick on my wife about a lot. Pick on her relentlessly, because she takes her little phone around everywhere and takes pictures of things. And she has an app called Picture That, Picture This, whatever it's called, right? And you take a picture of it and that app will identify pretty closely what it is. And since then, we've been able to identify very beneficial herbs and plants that grow on our land that can help you in a pinch, right? Because there could always come the time where it's hard to get medicine, especially when your country doesn't really make much of it. So it's nice to have some of these old remedies that worked back in the day that you can learn about and maybe utilize, which you've done with your spider bite or tick bite, whatever it was. You used, what was it called? Plantain. We would have never known that. I said, that's weeds. Well, of course it is. Everything is a weed if it's not a flower or a tree, guys. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a description that I have for it. And maybe even like a book might say it. But everything has a purpose except for mosquitoes and ticks.
Yeah, it's been amazing using that app. I love finding new plants on the property. And another amazing thing is Marcel's actually started taking pleasure in doing it with me. So he can identify plants as we walk by. And when he's out doing yard work, he actually will go around the plants that I'm interested in. So that's why you see like weird shoots up everywhere, because those are plants that we're looking forward to growing out and harvesting some from.
And if we don't, we just still like to have it around.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because it's like antiseptic and anti this and anti that and good and like a lot of good properties. And like that's a level of preparedness that is very important, because CVS isn't always going to be open if that situation ever happens, right? And like health security is important out here, especially in rural America. When you're not expecting your wife to fall or get bit by something, what if there wasn't an urgent care for us to do? Sometimes it takes a long time to get out of here. What if it's a big storm? You have to be able to do some of these things yourself. I'm not talking about sewing your arm back on, guys, if you lose it to a chainsaw. I'm talking about knowing how to tourniquet that thing so you don't fall out before you can get some help. And maybe somebody else knows how to stitch that baby back up. Know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Knowing how to react and respond in an emergency situation is really the key to the setup of how it's all going to go down. If you have a little bit of prep in mind and you can be calm in the situation, you could probably figure it out. We're lucky enough that my fall was not like super life-threatening. It wasn't life-threatening. It really messed me up, guys.
Seemed life-threatening when it happened.
It did seem life-threatening when it happened.
And we didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
And we weren't calm.
Nope.
So we learned a lot of hard lessons.
We did.
You know, guys, we on our trail that goes down to the lower part. We'll call this the lower piece. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Look behind me. Look at that trail. We cleared this together. All three of us, me, Gage, and Marcel.
We've created, I smell those hickories. The hickory's smelling real good right now, guys. That's another resource we have. I hear hickory milk is amazingly good for you. If you don't know what hickory milk is, check it out. And if you do, give us some tips, right? Give us some tips on how to harvest it, and because hickory nuts are not like walnuts. They're smaller with less meat in it. That's why they turned it into hickory milk, because you can turn more of what it is into something than trying to pick out those little, you know, I'm not a squirrel. You know what I mean?
This tree right over here is a hickory tree. We have a couple of them going up the path, but this one produces nuts so far. A couple of them are a little bit too small still. We have another big one up the hill that does.
For the 25 acres, if we wanted, we could live on hickories if it was like nutritionally possible.
Got spider webs flying off of us, you guys.
It's early morning.
One of the things walking down the trail is having a hat in front of you is, ooh, nice, because then it catches the webs before your face does. Look at that sexy man right there, baby.
Hey, what up? It's Sasquatch. All right, guys, what we kind of doing right now is another prep that is so desperately important, not just for a homestead, but for security purposes. Like if you run in a big piece of property, you're wanting to make sure that you're always checking the area. You try to remember what the area looked like before. You're looking for disturbances or things that are not right, out of place, if you will, right? Which is what we're doing right now. There is an escaped convict in our area, so we're hyper vigilant about what's going on around us, but you're also looking for other signs, because there's bears around here, there's bobcats around here, there's coyotes around here, there's likely mountain lions. Some people said it. I'm not exactly sure, but maybe this is a big old flat dry chunk of land on this big wonderful globe, and these things can move around wherever they want.
You guys, I seen a post on Facebook, and so I try to take those with a grain of salt, because sometimes they're not right. But somebody posted a black panther right over the Missouri border. We're about 20 minutes from the border.
So if there's a black panther in our area or anywhere in this country, it's escaped from a zoo or from somebody who owned one probably illegally and let it go in the woods. Otherwise, I just don't think they're a problem.
I don't know. We hope that was just like not a real post.
It could very well be. It could be somebody's illegal pet that they let get away, or an escaped one, because they're not here. They're elsewhere.
Yeah.
Panthers are in like the Serengeti. You know what I mean? The Nile.
Well, I didn't
The
think there were
Amazonian.
bears here either.
Well, of course there's bears here. We're in the Ozark Mountains.
I don't know. I mean, like this close to us though. Recently, we also seen posts on Facebook about a bear, but they look legit. So
The bear's legit.
the bear's legit.
The bear is legit. This is our lower chunk of property, guys. This is where our well's at. There used to be a home right here on this spot. It had burnt down. There is a power box right there that used to be attached to the house. They still, well, we still use it, and it was still used because this is how they ran the power from here to the well. So we're still utilizing it that way as well. It is a pretty decent sized slab. It's not in too bad a shape. If we want to, which we do, we can build something on here. We really do have hopes for a real family compound. You feel me? I'm not going to be ashamed to say compound anymore either, because that's what it is, man. You live in a community, you're in a compound, right? Whatever, call it what you will. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm breaking out, baby.
These ones are gonna produce first, I think.
Guys, this was our original garden. These are our attempts at gardening, because that is part of homesteading. Yeah, it's part of self-reliance. Yeah, it's also part of preparedness. And it can also be a joy for people to garden. So we have started, some of the stuff's still going, man. My wife's herbs are still banging. Man, they're banging.
So we was gifted some garden plants a few years ago, so we tried our hand at it and got a few of our own. The
What, oregano?
yeah, oregano is just
This is a huge patch of oregano. There's a huge patch of oregano over there. It just grows everywhere. So I wish it tasted like chocolate cookies, but it doesn't. But we still got a lot of it, and maybe I don't know what to do with it.
we could dry it.
And then what? What do you do with it when it's dry?
It's good for the chickens. It's good for us. It smells so good. We could use it in our cooking.
It has a sagey taste. I would not recommend it this way, but maybe if you put it in like a spaghetti sauce. You know what I mean? Just kidding, guys. My favorite one is over here. This plant here we actually found growing just in a weird spot up the hill. We tried to dig it up and transplant it down here. I brought it on a trailer down the hill. I dropped it on its head. It died. We decided we wanted a garden. We needed all the soil we could come up with, additional soils. So I took the bucket that I had it in and dumped it in here, mixed it all up, and now we've got 2 of them growing. They came back. They are lemon balm. I like to call this the counterfeit lemon pledge. Oh my gosh, guys. Smell that, guys, man. You would clean your whole house with this stuff. They should call it the Pledge of Allegiance. You know what I'm saying? Because I stand straight when this stuff is in my nose. Oh, yeah. We got 2 of them. How about that? What's it taste like? Can I eat lemon pledge?
Yeah, baby. It's actually very beneficial for you. It's calming.
Man, I feel so calm, guys. You know what I mean? You guys hear me?
Yeah. It's going to be a tea at some point if we get, if it grows, it's growing a lot bigger than it did down the hill. So I'm glad that it's coming back.
I feel like I just licked the coffee table. Yeah. I feel like I just licked the coffee table.
You
after I
smell
cleaned
like it. He smells like it, guys. How funny.
That's a deer track right there. That's one of Arkansas's most dangerous specimens right there. The wild fanged deer. What? They don't have fangs, guys. They do have wings. We call them Pegasuses. All right, we're about to walk past the onion patch.
You guys, this was growing here on the property. Check it out.
They've gone to seed. We might be able to soon collect these seeds, because these flowers, I believe they open up and then drop their seed and then it grows again. Yeah, but we've had onions here every year since we've been here. They're up the hill, they're down the hill. We just picked this spot right here to let it keep going because it's easy to identify and it seems to keep coming back. So one day, see, the little cover just falls right off. It was just a pod, and then it turns into this weird looking flower which has got the seeds in it. Yeah, I wonder what it tastes like. Oh my gosh.
You gotta be very careful. I don't know if
Oh my gosh, did you guys see the size of that chicken? Seriously, taste this.
Oh wow.
You could put that alone on like a salad or in a soup. It tastes exactly like onions.
So we've had disagreement after disagreement of what these are. They say they're wild leeks, which I think that's about it. I kind of thought they were garlic for a while, but man, they taste good.
Here's why I know that it's an onion, because they are clearly growing. It's too early in the season. You harvest these things, they're full grown in the fall. Yeah? And look at how big they're getting. And it's a bulb with layers, not segmented like garlic is segmented bulb. And onion is a layered bulb. And this is layer after layer. Man, it's like being at the Olive Garden. Or whatever. Look at, there's just a whole bunch of them right there. I'm just gonna pack them back down there because they are also good food for the ground. Remember harvesting one 3 years ago, and it was a full onion, and it was right here on this hill that I harvested it.
Oh, somebody's got zoomies.
Knock it off! What's wrong with you?
Daddy, I got zoom
I
zooms.
think he ate one of those calming leaves.
You're all wet. Look at you. You're a hot mess. Look at you. You're a hot mess. Really? Let's go.
Yeah, we heard it. I don't know if we caught it on camera or not. Maybe we did. But there was just some deer up behind our house this morning. And they were bedding. They had to have been. And I heard that very distinctive screech that deer will make when they are encountering danger. It's like a weird noise that they make. And they took off. But it's so awesome to know that we have them here. We experienced one not too long ago.
Oh my gosh, a baby deer. I walked right up on it.
And we love them. And they're beautiful. But they're also a resource. So to have them close to your home is not a bad thing.
Yeah, we're learning all kinds of skills since we've been here. And that's part of being self-reliant, is challenging yourself to learn new things, to be able to take care of yourself, repair things. We've learned a lot of repair stuff that we never really knew before. It feels good though, because I really do like expanding my knowledge and just growing and being able to not feel fearful if there's not food there. You know, food is a necessity. So having that stability, knowing that we can provide for ourselves, is key.
And when you say providing for yourself, you don't mean being able to go to the grocery store, because that's not providing for yourself. That's the grocery store providing for you. However you obtain that, whether it's working or welfare or what it is not reliance, self-reliance. I'll be straight, self-reliance is a bit of a myth in my perspective. And it's because you can't really be prepared for everything, right? But you can be prepared for what you can be prepared for. Things have been growing long before we were ever here. People have been surviving long before we were ever here, right? Yeah. So that being said, you don't have to have all the weird stuff from over there to survive here, because they were already surviving here. You feel me? We just need to get back to the roots. So there's a more realistic definition of what it means to be self-reliant and prepared. You know what I mean? Having chickens does not mean that you're self-reliant if you got to go to the grain store and buy feed. When the grain store is down, you're SOL. Unless your chickens know how to fend for themselves. Yeah. You can't coop your chickens up all the time. They get sick. and they're not learning how to fend for themselves. I'm going to say it's kind of like a socialist community, right? They depend entirely on us, and it costs them their commodity. Yeah? That's how they live. We give them a good life, though.
Yeah. They could survive on bugs and stuff, but let me just tell you, when we first got here and we tried fresh eggs from the chickens that hadn't been fed by us.
100% free range.
Yuck, man.
Yuck.
It was very grassy.
Very
And we
good.
were like, how can we eat these eggs? Like, fresh eggs taste so weird. But we started feeding them grain and it changed it. It changed the way the eggs taste. So that is, they could survive off bugs and we could use the eggs, but where did that come from?
All right, guys, we're about to show you how balls are made. They grow in Arkansas next to the rocks. That's not our dog right there.
It's not our dog.
No, it's not our dog.
All right, I have been catching the neighbor's dogs on the camera. I think it's the neighbor's dog.
When she says neighbor, she means it could be miles away. Local dogs, we'll call them. Yeah. But there's also the threat that people just drop their dogs off and force like farmers and stuff to take care of their problems, yeah? We have cameras everywhere, guys. We've been catching, there's cameras right everywhere you walk around our property. There is a camera, which is another one of our very, very important preps, is security preps. Yeah, and it's not reliant on the grid, and it's not reliant on a service. It's not reliant on wires, dragging wires around. We do have to have power, but we can create our power now because we have generators and not
solar. And even with the cameras, they have solar panels, so
built-in batteries and solar panels. They're independent. They can record right to themselves or to the main hub.
We had our system in Denver, but we've expanded quite a bit, and we're really excited that we've been able to do that. Unfortunately, we didn't think we'd have to do something like this, but under the current times, you guys, it is important to have eyes where you can't see.
Exactly, exactly. And then we're down to our, there's a lot of like homestead stuff and preps that we can talk about, but we're gonna end this one with our most important and our biggest prep, and that's our house. You have to have shelter. Even the cavemen knew it. They lived in the caves. You know what I mean? The Eskimos live in a igloo. The Indians lived in a teepee. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, the cliffside dwellings too. Some of them are bougie. You know what I'm saying? But that's our home, guys. And we're learning how to build this thing on our own. And we're doing it on our own. And we're doing it on our own, baby.
We are.
Check it out, guys.
With all the storms that we've had this year, we are very thankful and grateful that we have the house to be sheltered down in. We recently had a huge storm and a lightning strike hit our camper. We are so lucky that Gage was not in there, or one of us.
Yeah. It didn't actually hit our camper, guys. It hit a big metal pole that we have our WeBoost antenna attached to. If you don't know what a WeBoost is, it's a Wi-Fi booster. So it picks up a cell phone signal from a long ways away and amplifies it where we're at. And it works very well, especially when you're in a camper, because it acts like a very bad Faraday cage, but it is still a Faraday cage. It doesn't allow signals to go in and out very well. So we utilize that all the time. We actually had one for our vehicle, one for our house, and when we didn't have service or nobody else did, we did, which was awesome. And it did affect our, what was it? It was our water heater or our furnace.
Oh yeah, so the pole's attached to the back of the camper, which in turn must have transferred through all the metal that it's like touching. And the fan in the camper for the heater just went on. And it actually, was it even working before?
Well, we needed to replace some sort of either like a temperature switch or something, which was making it so our furnace, our heater, was not functioning properly. But it would be an easy fix. But now I think we have fan problems as well. Or it could be like a chip, the board itself. Who knows? But it is running constantly, so we just pulled the fuse out of it, so there's no more power running to it. We'll fix that later, guys, because we got other important things we got to get to. We keeping the house warm now, not the camper. Plus, we had used electric heaters anyways, because propane is a pain when you got to go get it all the time. Yeah? All right, man, I'm feeling pretty good about this. It's been a leisurely day, man. I'm really glad that we got to hang out with you guys. We hope that you enjoyed the commercial about the cameras. They're very, very important. I don't care if you're in a city or in a small town or rural like we are out in the cut. Surveillance is important because you only got two eyes and some of us only got one. It's a great addition to our security, protocol. Yeah. All right, man, we at the end of this one. Let's go ahead and say goodbye because we got to get back to building this house, and I'm certain you guys are excited about seeing my wife and I back up on that roof because we are as well. Yeah.
All right, you guys, we're going to wrap this one up for now. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. If you're enjoying our content, please be sure to give us a big thumbs up.
Bam!
Ring that notification bell.
Man, that's a great thing to do, guys. And if you have it in you, when those videos go up and you watch them, like when they come up, it helps our videos become part of the algorithm.
Be sure to share our videos.
That's the next wonderful step, guys, because it extends our reach. We continue to grow, and it makes it possible for us to do this again tomorrow. Subscribe if you haven't already, guys. Right now is a perfect time. Actually, earlier was too, yesterday was too, and even tomorrow. Whatever, just make sure that you're subscribed because we want to know that we in this together, baby.
Heck yeah, we love and appreciate you guys.
And thanks for watching.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Peace.